TOA community, welcome back everybody. Robert Linkul, trainingtheolderadult.com. I want to do something a little bit different today with you all, see what you thought of this. I recently read this book, Outlive, by one of my heroes of the industry, I guess, if we're going to use some fun titles, Dr. Peter Attia. And one chapter in particular on here, I'll give him a shout out for the website, his podcast, everything else is fantastic. Just a great book. And I listened to it. I listened to the audio, and I loved it because Peter read it, and he talked about how difficult it was for him to do that. But it made the experience of the book so much better hearing him read it versus some paid professional that would have just read it. And I'm sure it would have been very nice, but you get a different feeling when the author reads their books. And Dan John is probably my favorite. The way that he reads his books, you feel like you're just listening to him, tell you stories. So what I thought would be fun, one particular chapter 11 on exercise really stood out to me. And it's been a chapter where almost every line is like an individual statement or a statistic or talking point. And so I'm not going to read you the entire chapter, but I thought it'd be fun to do a little diary of these, day by day, and we can talk about a paragraph or two and then have a little discussion about it. So in the beginning of this chapter, he talks about his friend John Griffin, and he sent him a message. He says, "I'm really confused with all the contradictory stuff I'm seeing out there about exercise. What program should I be doing, etc." And so he writes back and an email, and before he knows it, his answer is like 2,000 words. Well, he didn't stop there, and ends up being 10,000 words, what he calls his manifesto, and then that eventually kind of turns into this book. So we'll start here, and then we'll kind of work our way through this, and just have a discussion about it a little bit, which I think could be really fun. More than any other tactical domain we discuss in this book, exercise has a great power to determine how you will live out the rest of your life. There are reams of data supporting the notion that even a fairly minimal amount of exercise can lengthen your life by several years. It delays the onset of chronic disease pretty much across the board, but it also amazingly effective at extending and improving health span. Not only does it reverse physical decline, which I suppose is somewhat obvious, but it can slow or reverse cognitive decline as well. It also has benefits in terms of emotional health, although those are harder to quantify. So if you adopt only one new set of habits based on reading this book, it must be in the realm of exercise. If you currently exercise, you will likely want to rethink and modify your program. And if exercise is not a part of your life at the moment, you are not alone. 77% of the US population is like you. Now is the time to change, right now. Even a little bit of daily activity is much better than nothing. Going from 0 weekly exercise to just 90 minutes per week can reduce your risk of dying from all causes by 14%. It's very hard to find a drug that can do that. Okay, let's reread that one. Going from 0 weekly exercise to just 90 minutes per week can reduce your risk of dying from all causes by 14%. So if I take 90 minutes, okay, 90 minutes, this is just to show you how simple this is. 90 minutes divided by 7, that's 13 minutes a day of exercise, right? Obviously, we want to do more than 13, so let's take 90 and simply do it. Let's divide it by 4. So it's 23 minutes of exercise every day. So that's the simplicity of, I'm going to go for a walk for 20 to 25 minutes every other day. Can increase or reduce your risk of dying from all causes across the board by 14%, just simply by doing that. Thus, my answer to questions like the one my friend John Griffin asked me is yes and yes. Yes, you should be doing more cardio, and yes, you should be lifting more weights. At the other end of the spectrum, if you're someone like me who has been exercising since kindergarten, I promise you these chapters will offer you insight about how to better structure your program, not to achieve a faster marathon time or bragging rights at your gym, but to live a longer and better life. And most important, a life in which you can continue enjoying physical activity well into your later years. So I really, as this chapter goes on, again, I was sitting here and I'm like, man, should I highlight each one of these lines? Like each opening line to a paragraph is almost a standalone point on its own. And so just what I'd love to do is just a diary of these a couple days, and we'll just work our way through the chapter if you like that. And again, big shout outs to Peter, and hoping that if you have any interest, obviously you would go buy the book. I not only bought a hard copy, but I also bought the digital copy, the audio copy, so I could listen to it as well. And I'm such a dork of a fan, I wanted the one that he signed, so I got one of the early ones with his autograph in it, which makes me happy. And it's again just a great book. So let's wrap up. I want these to be fairly short as we do these, but a couple of the stats that pop out right away just from that little bit we just discussed. The 77% of the U.S. population that is not exercising. That means literally no exercise at all. That means 77% of our country is just sitting. The last time I looked it up, there were 366 million Americans, I think. So 77%, 281 million people not exercising. Now, out of the 23%, 23% that are, most of them are doing 90 minutes a week. And that's again, like the bare minimum. So yeah, you're gonna increase your quality of life and you're going to decrease your risk of all-cause mortality by 14% by doing that. But as he kind of concluded there in that opening paragraph or the intro is, if you could have a small dedicated window every week to cardiovascular work, and then have a small dedicated window to resistance training, you'll see as we work our way through this, these percentages and these potentials for increasing your quality of life and reducing your all-cause mortality risks skyrocket. And if we take 168 hours, 168 hours that you have in the week, and we subtract out those 90 minutes, right? Well, let's do 168 times 24. So 168 times 60. You have 10,000 minutes in a week, okay? And we want to take 90 of those to go and exercise. So when you hear it that way, you're like, I have 10,000 minutes in this week, 10,080 to be exact. So I'm going to take 90 of those to exercise, 3 30-minute bouts during the week. I still have 9,990 minutes to do whatever else, I want to do in life. And at a bare minimum, that's going to help improve my quality of life and reduce my all-cause mortality risk by that 14%. But I think what will happen, what I would hope would happen is, as you experience those 3 30-minute bouts, you start to recognize how much better you feel after each one of those, how clear your mind is. You might even have a little bit of a exercise-induced high, which is a great thing. That's an emotional, hormonal response to the exercise you just put your body through. It's an endorphin rush, if you will. You should have a little bit of a dopamine rush as well with that, as it's a rather exciting experience and there's stimulus there. So you'll be thinking clearly, you'll be feeling good, and then you'll see little things like your digestion will be more efficient and more effective post-workout. Your cognition and your brain function will be improved, especially if you do this on a regular basis. You'll see that occur rather quickly. There's research to suggest cognitive changes within 7 to 10 days. There are physical reflections from people experiencing exercise with one session, feeling, wow, my body feels better now that I moved it. So you have a mood shift, you have a hormonal response, you have an emotional response, you have a physical response in your body feeling this. Now that may end up with some soreness, and that's okay. That's showing that you're challenging yourself. Your body's going to start to grow and change from that. If you're extremely sore, that means that you overdid it. And so you're going to learn where your red lines are. You want to be able to, like an engine, rev that engine up and get it to the point where it's close to redlining. Red line isn't going to blow the engine, but it's definitely pushing the limits. And then if you go over into the red line and you leave it there for a while, then yeah, you're probably going to blow the engine, and that's going to cause damage. Well, our bodies are very similar. If you exercise and you push yourself and you get near that red line, the engine will run really efficiently and it'll give a good maximal performance, and then it'll go back to normal, go back to idle, and our bodies will recover. And we do that over and over again. We improve the quality of the performance of our engine. But if you overdo it and we redline beyond, rev, hold it up there, means you pushed a little bit too much on the weight, or you overexhausted yourself in the cardio, and then, you know, your body will start to give a response that goes, man, this is, I feel sick, I feel nauseous, I feel dizzy. And that's now, it's become a negative experience for you. And hopefully that is not a regular occurrence. We want you to feel really good leaving the exercise bouts every time that you do it. Not necessarily dreading it every day because it makes you feel gross when you're done. So learning when and where your red lines are, and going, okay, I need to, this is a good push. I've worked hard. I feel great. I'm really happy about this experience. It carries for the next couple hours for me. And I want to replicate that every day. And if we keep doing that, even just in those 3 bouts, I think what you'll see is that you'll find such value on those days that you'll want to replicate it on a 4th day, and then on a 5th day, and then on a 6th day. And then you get to a point on days that you don't exercise, you don't feel as good, you don't feel as challenged, you feel like you're missing something in your daily routine. And that's where 7 days a week of exercise is not only a good thing, a great thing for you, and great part of your routine. I'm not saying you need to lift weights 7 days. I'm not saying you need to do cardio 7 days. I'm saying you need to do activity 7 days a week. Every single day, you should be doing something physically active for at least 30 minutes. So if it's 3 days a week of lifting, alternating days in between there, 3 days of cardiovascular work, and then 1 day of golf or tennis or hiking or walking or running or whatever other activities, gardening, you know, whatever, mobility work, tai chi, yoga, like anything where you're just moving and active, more than just the basics of every day, okay? I think that would be an awesome plan. So if we got to a point where we were doing 90 minutes every day, okay, 90 minutes, not 90 minutes every day, 30 minutes every day, 30 minutes times 7, you have 210 minutes, okay? Now, if we were gonna do just those 90 minutes, that decreased our mortality rate by 14. So if we double that, now we have a 28% at least, right? I'm just doing simple math here of, well, if 90 minutes is good, then 180 minutes is better, right? So now we reduced it by 28%, if not more. I think the number actually goes up, you know, quite a bit higher than that. But at minimum, right, you've improved your quality of life and reduced your all-cause mortality risk by 25+%. And I think that right there in itself is totally worth those 210 minutes, which is still less than 1% of the minutes that you have readily available to you during your week. So to wrap this, I don't want each one of these to be 15 minutes like we're doing here. I'll try to make them shorter, but in this first one, I wanted to kind of introduce what we're doing here. What I would hope is that if you find it valuable to do your 30 minutes of exercise every day, that, and you're also one of those folks that goes, man, I just don't know if I have the time to do it. This is one of those moments where you say, this is a priority for me. I need to make this time. And if I am in charge of or responsible for other beings, okay, kids, and or your significant others and other people in your life that you want to be there for, be a part of, taking care of yourself and being capable and able and living longer is how you do that. Many people think that exercising or taking time for yourself is a selfish thing. It's actually one of the more unselfish things you can do, as you are increasing your life expectancy and how effective and efficient your presence can be, because you're a better version of yourself. You will live longer, you will be more pleasant to be around, your body's ability to do things will be greater, your energy to do things will be greater, your stimulus and your engagement with people face to face and the emotions and your cognition and all this is going to be improved. So you're only going to be a better version of yourself for everyone else that you want to serve and be a part of. And by serve, I mean your community of people, right? We're all kind of in service to our community of people, and that's what makes our community. We're all here to help each other and be a part of this. It takes our village, right? We all have our group, our people. So you want to be there for them. Be the best version of yourself for them. Don't skip leg day, right? Don't skip cardio. Don't skip mobility work. Like all these don't cheat meals, all these kinds of things. These are all little things that we'll discuss and kind of go chapter by chapter. Well, not chapter by chapter, but paragraph by paragraph, basically, as we go through this and have little talking points. So I'm going to try to do one of these every day with you, and tell me what you think. We'll go through this chapter based on the exercise, and I would love to hear your feedback. If you think this is something that could be beneficial, I'll try to keep these to 6 to 10 minutes every day, so you can fit it into a regular routine of your life, and I won't take up too much of your time, and we'll go from there. Leave me a comment. Let me know if you're on board with me and you want to keep going through, and we'll do it. Much love and appreciation to all of you out there, and check out Peter's book, of course, and the website, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. Peace.